Hi everyone, and welcome back to the MS Workouts channel. For this month of May, we're going to be helping you reduce your foot drop through a series of exercises, stretches, and movements. In today's video, we're going to start with a beginner foot drop exercise session for those of you experiencing severe lack of mobility in your foot. If this video helps you and you struggle with foot drop, then I have a really special announcement to make. We have just opened up registration for our 5-day Foot Drop Immersive workshop. This is a 5-day workout program that is free to join and doesn't require any credit cards to sign up. All you have to do is to click the link below this video and register using your email. The first class officially starts on Monday, May 22nd, so make sure you register before then to be a part of the Foot Drop Immersive workshop. This is the second time this year that we'll be hosting this Foot Drop Immersive workshop because of all of the amazing results that we saw participants gain in the last one. And we had quite a few people asking for it, so we are going to do it again. But it may be the last one for the rest of the year, we don't know yet. We're going to give you an entire workout program, plus host live events where you can ask us your questions and get the modifications to the exercises that you need to be as successful as possible. We're getting started Monday, May 22nd, 2023, so make sure you register before then. I'd love to get to work with you. With all that being said, let's go ahead and shift our focus right now into this week's video, where I'm going to show you a few beginner exercises to help you get your foot drop under control. Let's do this. As I mentioned at the top, we're going to go through a few exercises here today that are going to truly help you get started on your foot drop journey, okay? These are some beginner exercises. Actually, it's gonna be two, and then we're gonna move into a passive and active stretch to help loosen things back up, okay? Make sure you've got your progress journal, make sure you've got your resistance band and or your towel, something to help you assist into the proper position. If these exercises are more along the lines of movements for you today because the intensity isn't quite as high, that's a great problem to have. Because next week we'll go into a little greater difficulty of exercises and movements. And remember, you're supposed to meet your body where it's at. And this is really a baseline to see where you're currently at, and then we will adjust the difficulty appropriately heading into next week. Ready to do this? Let's rock and roll. Okay, we're gonna start off with a ankle flexion isometric set, okay? So what we're gonna do is it's gonna be unilateral. Let's grab a band or a towel. You're going to loop it underneath the forefoot of your right foot. We're going to extend the leg out, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do is the starting position is going to be toe towards shin, as far in as you can get it, okay? And at the end of the day, if you have to use the towel in order to assist you to as much flexion as possible, please feel free to do so. The more flexion you get, the greater you can pull your toe in towards your shin, the more the anterior tibialis will actively fire and engage. And we want as much contraction out of that area as possible, because what that translates to is when you're walking, the ability to bring that toe up in your gait so you don't have that slap foot ideally, okay? So we're going isometric, simply your best effort. When we get to the starting position, you're gonna actively engage. You're gonna focus on trying to pull that toe as close to the shin as possible. When you can no longer continue, notate that time and then just jump back in with me. All right, clock is on. Starting position is in place. My toe is towards my anterior tibialis. Now I'm gonna relax my hands as much as possible. We're focusing on actively engaging anterior tibialis. You should feel it, okay? Now, if you don't have the mobility in your lower limb, okay, to keep the foot in that position, use the band, okay, to help assist you in staying in that position. And when you start to shake, rattle, roll, and you can't hold anymore at all with the muscle tissue, notate the time that's on the clock above me, okay? If you have the function in the lower limb and the anterior tibialis to not have the resistance band, you need to focus on pulling the toe in and keep the max contraction the entire time. If you are, you're gonna feel a deep burn, okay? We're going past that 45-second mark here. I want you to remind yourself during this uncomfortable exercise why we're doing this. This is to help reduce the foot drop, to get neuromuscular facilitation, movement, exercise, engagement in this area to help you with ankle flexion. All right, we're passing the 60-second mark, which is allowing us to head into what we call the exhaust range in MS workouts, which is really where you should reach muscle failure. Okay, we want to max out that anaerobic subsystem. We want to get about 60 seconds to 90 seconds of time to resistance. Whew, shake and rattle and roll. Now, everybody look, right? So I'm not doing this on purpose, okay? This is just the neurological system starting to fatigue here, right? This is that bounce, right? We've got about 10 seconds left. Breathing freely, taking what you can. If you're still with me, great. If you've already reached muscle failure successfully, wonderful for you. One more second and done. Whew, tightness. Point that toe, extend it out, and let that anterior tibialis lengthen. Okay, one down. Now, before we go into the next one, super important, if you've been around this channel for any time, you realize the importance of being measured. So I'm going to write down for that ankle flexion metabolic set, okay? I used my body weight, so I'm just gonna use body weight, okay? I used the band to assist me. I'm just gonna make a little quick notation, but then I dropped the band. And I actually made it all the way to the 130 mark. So I need to increase the difficulty next time. I'm gonna put a plus, I'm gonna circle it so that I know I need to increase the difficulty. We will talk about how to increase the difficulty of these exercises next time we are on, okay? Let's roll into the next one, which is going to be an ankle extension. So now we worked flexion, now we're gonna work the calf or the extensors, which is the extension of that ankle. Let's do it. Alrighty, so we are going to stick with this right leg for now, okay? And we're gonna execute an ankle extension. So we're going to straighten knee, and what we are going to execute is an ankle extension in a seated position, okay? We're going to point that toe, we're going to go isometric again, and we are going to give your very best effort and try to keep that calf contracted the entire time, okay? All right, I want you to think about extending ankle out. Clock is on. So you are pointing that toe, you are flexing this calf, okay? In this position, this is a modified version that will allow you to have less resistance into that calf. If you need more difficulty and you can execute this for the entire 90 seconds, you can always bend the knee and press through the ground, elevate the heel, okay? And actively flex the entire time. You meet your body where it's at. I would suggest everyone start today with this one, okay? Let your body prove to you that it can execute the entire 90 seconds, fully engaged with all the intent possible before you then increase that difficulty, okay? You may feel a cramp in the foot. If you do so, you pull the toes back, it'll uncramp, just notate time. You're squeezing calf to extend that ankle, okay? This is ankle extension, going to help you in extending, right, that ankle when you're walking in that gait. And again, the goal is muscle failure. So it's simply that point, ooh, I had to disengage. 102, I'm notating the clock, okay? Goodness gracious. Right back in, okay? So I did it, success at the 102 mark, okay? With body weight. I did not expect to do that. I'll be candid with you, okay? But that's what happened. So I notated the time, 102, and I'm gonna write it back down at the end. Now I'm pointing, I'm squeezing, I'm engaging, right? Breathing freely, about 10 more seconds here. I did it. I'm gonna pat myself on the back, right? If you've already reached muscle failure, you notated your time, you did it. If not, you're still engaged, then great. 1 second and disengage. Success, I did it, okay? All right, so I, as I mentioned, reached momentary muscle failure. Again, I did not expect that to happen, okay? But it happened, okay? Which is great. I'm happy that that happened. So ankle extension, body weight, and I disengaged at 102. And I'm gonna make a notation here that it really was a cramping in my foot, in my calf, okay? So that I understand and I realize, right? Don't be afraid to make notations to kind of talk yourself through it so that whenever you get back into these exercises, you have a measured path. You know exactly where you've been and where you're heading. That's how you get results, okay? All right, now that we've executed both of those exercises, we're actually going to go through a what I would call active and passive just movement to lengthen this tissue back out. We have lots of members who utilize our collection of stretches for their use, and we get feedback all the time about how good it feels, right, to get blood flow back to the area. It's kind of like a massage in reality. So what we're going to do in order to target the two areas that we just exercised, we're going to come across, okay? If you can cross the leg in this manner and get access to the foot, do so. If you can't, then cross legs down here, okay, into this positioning, okay? Wherever you can get access to that foot, please feel free to do so, okay? So I'm going to, for purposes of the video, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to gain access to the ankle, okay? So use your hands here, right? I don't want the muscles doing the work. We're going to come to the starting position, which is a flexion of the ankle. Clock is on. So I want you to literally, with your hands, okay, you're extending the ankle. And as you extend it, you can rub on this anterior tibialis, which is the stretch. We're gonna pause, we're gonna head back up, okay? So now as you come up, you're stretching the calf, right? You can dig in, massage into the calf, and then we're gonna head back the other direction, okay? If once you get all the way extended, you want to get a little perineal stretch, okay, or relief, you can tuck the toe in, okay? Now don't pull and ratchet on this joint so much to where you create some type of unnecessary tension, okay? If you have lack of neurological connectivity and feel in the area, then I would call it a little bit short, right? You don't want to ever force a joint into a range that could be detrimental to it, okay? As you come back up, again, we're lengthening the calf, digging in. If you feel a trigger point or a point that is tender, you can focus in on that area, right? We're just focused on shortening and lengthening both the anterior and the posterior sides of this lower limb, right? Which are the muscles that primarily affect foot drop, right? In a positive or negative manner, right? So what we're basically doing today is we're adding specificity to our routine, okay? So we're ensuring that we're not only actively engaging from a neuromuscular standpoint the muscles that allow us to get flexion and extension. Let's go one more range of motion here. But we're also then circling back around and making sure we get active and passive movement to get blood flow back to the tissue. So that was an active and passive stretch. I'd call it a little bit of both. So there's no need to make a notation unless you'd like to, okay? If there's something that you want to make sure you remember for that stretch, then please feel free to make notations. I'm all about being measured because at the end of the day, that allows you to understand where you've been and know what you need to do to get to where you are headed. So let me know if you liked these beginner exercises. If, again, you reached muscle failure, wonderful, okay, it was enough. We know where your baseline is. If you didn't, make sure you show up next week because I'm going to show you a little greater intensity of exercise and movement so we can continue to build this month on tools for you to have to meet your body where it's at in the process of reducing your foot drop, okay? With that being said, if you're here watching this because of foot drop, then more than likely you're interested in foot drop. And more than likely you may or may not remember that we have an immersive 5-day workshop coming up on the 22nd. Our registration is open for it. Many of you may already be registered. If you are, excellent. I look forward to seeing you because we are gonna have some live events. So you're literally gonna be able to ask me questions during this 5-day process. We're gonna have a live workout during this 5-day process. This is gonna be awesome. Now, if you're watching and you haven't signed up yet, you still have time to do so, okay? Go ahead and go to www.msworkouts.com. Just use your email. We don't want a credit card. This is not going to cost you anything. You don't have to put a card number down. It's just your email address, okay? We just want you to be a part of this process because I know you want results in reducing your foot drop, okay? Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Shame on you, right? I'm just kidding, okay? I want to get to know you, so please subscribe. Hit the notifications button so that you are notified when the newest videos drop. And until next week, make sure you are focusing on understanding what muscles are involved, using specificity from an exercise standpoint, and then don't neglect the opposite side. I want you to circle back around, execute these on the left side as well, so that we are making sure, even if this is your strong side, we are building as much reserve as possible in your functional strength so you can truly thrive. Until next week, have an awesome week, and I'll see you then. Take care. Our YouTube channel is a great place to start gaining strength, but if you want to get serious about reducing your symptoms and getting results, then you need to be on a weekly structured strength training program with other individuals just like you. And that's exactly what we offer at MS Workouts through our membership. Click the link in the video or below the video to learn how our membership can help you achieve your goals. And while you're on the website, make sure you sign up for the no-cost 7-day strength camp so you can experience how we can help you do the things that you love to do with more confidence. See you all next week.